told me not to mess up. When I enjoy being speaker chairman, and my goal is to always go outside of the box and get somebody, not from, you used to be from Magnolia, doesn't live here. But I was at the Purple Hole Peace Festival, and it was so funny because I was walking around there thinking, I have got to come up with speakers. And I looked over, and there was Marcus. I said, Tammy, I'm going to go see if Marcus will speak for me. She said, that's a good idea. So I think everybody here knows Marcus. Marcus is homebred in Magnolia, Arkansas. He's gone on and made big things of himself. He works hard with what he does. And I just want to tell you this. Back in I believe it was 83, and you all that know me know that Bill Clinton's always been a fan of mine. I was at the governor's inauguration, and Clinton was coming down the stairs of the rotunda, and he stopped there and gave me a kiss. Well, I was so excited. So when I got back to Magnolia, everybody was saying, oh, we saw the governor kiss you on Channel 7. So I thought, man, I got to get a copy of that. So I called Marcus. Marcus said, yeah, Patty, I'll get you one. It's been 30-something years. I'm still waiting on that video. Okay, Marcus was born and raised in Magnolia, where he accepted Christ at a very young age as a member of the Homeowners Baptist Church. After graduating from Magnolia, he attended Southern Arkansas University and earned his bachelor's degree in mass communications in '81. He worked for the Magnolia Banner News for 3 years, and before moving to Little Rock and worked as a photojournalist for Channel 7 News. He'd been married to his beautiful wife, Renee. He told me it was 29 years, not 26. His daughter sent the wrong information. And he has 4 children, Reginald, Antonio, I can't pronounce those girls' names.
Kiara.
Okay.
Kirsten.
Okay. And I think most of us know Tony around here. He's been a member of the Rocky Mountain Baptist Church and was ordained as a deacon on September the 21st of '08. He accepted his calling to the ministry on June 26th of 2011 and preached his first sermon on September 18th. He is excited to be a servant of God and continues to live by the scripture. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. So, with great pleasure and pride, I would like to introduce you to Marcus McDonald.
First of all, let me apologize to Patty. Because I see you said 30 years, right? 83. That's when I left in 1983, and I know most of you all out there. So. Anybody got something to say now, y'all come on with it. I ain't trying to blackmail nobody. Yeah. Virginia, I ain't trying to blackmail you. No, we take these glasses off. Getting up now is not as easy as it used to be. Like I say, I'm from Magnolia, but I've had a great life. And I know I know that introductory sound like, a program on the church, but that's what I do. I am a minister. I deacon for 3 years. I've been in the ministry. This is going on my 3rd year. It's the best thing I ever done. And I asked, me and my wife was talking about me coming here. She said, now, Marcus, you can't get up there preaching. And I was like, what? I can't tell them who woke me up this morning. She's like, I can't tell them who got me to Magnolia. She said, well, Marcus, you can't be up there preaching. I said, well, it's either 2 things going to happen. Either the Rotary Club going to be mad at me or God going to be mad at me. And I'd rather you guys would be mad at me. All right? I played basketball here. I was thinking about that. Every time I come home, people remind you of what you used to do. Man, how you used to play and everything, and you start feeling it. At 56 years old, you start feeling all the moves you used to do in the day, and your mind telling you can still do it. I drive to Prescott. I always stop at Lowe's, at Love's, and get some coffee. And then I have to roll out of the car. And then I remember I can't do what I used to do. The other day I was standing up and I held my hand up to the goal. And I looked up and I was like, you mean I could jump that high? It almost scared me. To find out that, you've been blessed with an ability to do things that a man my size or smaller that cannot do. And then you realize you was like, huh? And I love doing it. And and like I say, I love doing it. And we had at that time, me and Mike are classmates, and we had at that time that if you out here playing, and if you out here on this court with us, we don't care who you are or what you are. We come to win. You could be playing with the Rolling Razorbacks. You could be playing at Magnolia Manor Nursing Home. We don't beat you. Because that's what was instilled in us. And each and every one of you all out there played a big part in it. I look across this room here, and I'm just thankful and grateful that I could take the experiences that I learned here in Magnolia and take other places with me. But I didn't know at the time what I was getting ready for. But see, I take Magnolia everywhere I go. In every community I'm in, I take Magnolia. And people say, man, you're not from Magnolia. You've been in Little Rock 30 years. No, I'm from Magnolia. I'm always checking the scores, trying to see who won, who lost. I got a deep passion for the city of Magnolia and how I was raised here. Because, I tell people, I say, that's not like a country life. They say, well, you was educated at SAU. I said, no, I was educated with that common sense. I said, when God put that common sense in you, you got that common sense placed in you, it take a lot to deal with you and a lot to fool you. Like I tell people, I say, Magnolia taught me a lot of things, and I'm grateful and thankful of it. Even though I used to have to cheat off Mike McNeil's paper when we was growing up. McDonald McNeil, I made sure I sit close to Mike. I think I might have signed his name to my paper one time. I was back home not too long ago, and the guy said, man, you never could spell. I said, I know it. Thank God for that spell check. I couldn't spell. But see, I wasn't intended to spell. I was intended to be behind the camera I could see and I could get sound. See, so it was a man placed me in a position that he could use me in. And spelling wasn't my job. And I tell people, get where you placed to do a job, you do your job. And I asked Patty, I said, now Patty, come on. She said, well, just tell them about your experiences at Channel 7. I said, okay. I said, well, I said, I got 29 years. She said, now we're going to leave at 1 o'clock even whether you do or not. But, I think about when I got to Channel 7, never shot a video camera in my life. Never shot a camera in my life. But I did still cameras here at Magnolia. And the guy asked me, he said, man, why would I hire you? And you never shot a camera. I said, all I asked you for is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to do a job. He said, well, I tell you what we're going to do. He said, I'm going to try you. So, he hired me. He gave me that 90-day deal. I didn't know he was going to fire me or keep me. But what I did was, on my off days, I came and learned. I would come up there on my off days, and I would go out with Jim Casey. He was there 40-some years. And Casey is a character now. But Casey taught me a lot of things. I didn't look at the person that they was talking about, Jim Casey. I was looking at the person that could teach me what I needed to know. I didn't like all my teachers, but they taught me. And I was trying to learn. And see, that's what I tell young folks. Learn. Don't look at the person doing the teaching. Learn from the one that's teaching you and what they are teaching you. And so this man taught me. And I got numerous awards. I mean, numerous awards. You notice there wasn't none of them on there. But I got numerous awards. I've done story after story. I've been in every county in the state of Arkansas. I've been up and down dirt roads. I've had experiences, and I've seen stuff that probably people would never see in your lifetime. I've seen a whole lot of stuff. I've seen death. I've seen happiness. I've seen stuff. I've seen people take their last breath. I've seen stuff that we take for granted and people get up and walk away. But I could do that. And I could film those folks as long as I was doing my job. But when I turned around and walked away, the human part of me came out. I cried. I seen stories, they said, man, why are you getting involved? I said, hey, I don't know. I don't understand sometimes some of the things that go on, but children, and that kind of death, it really bothers me, especially when you have children. You have a compassion towards people and what they're going through. Like I say, I've had guns pulled on, 45 stuck in my chest. My guy put the gun right here in my chest. And I was like too stupid to be scared at that time. At that time. I'm at the bus station, me and Lori Johnson. Guy put the 45 on my chest, and he talking about, I shine the light on his car. The light on his car. And I say, man, you gonna kill me for shining a light on your car. And he was honest. He was like, yeah. I wasn't afraid. until I got in the car, my foot couldn't stay on the foot pedal. You know, my foot was doing this here. But, you know, and I met him about 2 weeks later, and I told him I would see him again. And we was all in at KFC. And I walked up to him. I said, you was going to kill me for shining your light on my car. He said, I was drunk. I said, I knew you was drunk. I said, but you would have took a life of a man with 4 children that's now a grandfather. And you would have took his life because I shined the light on your car. And he was like, at the time, and the young man apologized. We hugged, we shook hands, we went on. And I told him, if alcohol will make you kill a man, maybe you need to leave the alcohol alone. See, a lot of times we blame people for things that they doing at that particular time, and they don't know what they're doing because they allowed themselves to get in a state of mind that they can't control. You know, and I've been down that state of mind where you can't control. You know, and self-control is a big part of my life, and that's one thing that I'm trying to work on, is self-control. You know, I mean, I'm one of those kind, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you. If you don't ask me, I'm going to tell you. And if you don't like it, I'm still going to tell you. But see, I had to work on that. I had to work on that. I had to work on trying to tame the tongue. You know, I'm quick to come back at people. Anything and everything has been said to me that you can say to me. There's nothing in this world that none of you all can say to me that has already been said to me. But when I go back to the Magnolia part of it, see, I was trained here. So what somebody else do somewhere else don't matter. Because I learned it at a young age here. And see, I use those valuable tools to better myself, and not only better myself, but to better the people I'm around. A lady told me the other day at the car wash, she said, she cussed me, she said, you better not take my picture, don't put that camera on me. I said, well, miss, it would be an honor not to film you. She cussed me for that. But I'm just doing what she asked me to do. She asked me not to take her picture. I told her it would be an honor. Now she mad because I told her it would be an honor. Now, I don't know how she took it, but my wife said I was calling her ugly. And then I just think about you all, the folks like Paul is. Now, Paul was my buddy. And I mean really my buddy. If I ever had a friend in this world, it was Paul Hills. I'm going to say that again. If I ever had a friend in this world, it was Paul Hills. Y'all knew 10-yard line, 5-yard line, oh my, touchdown. But I knew a man that was a whole different man. I knew a man that loved each and every one of y'all in this room and didn't even know you. I know he loved your children and didn't know your children. He loved everybody he ever came across. And I used to tell him all the time, Paul, how can you be like that? He said, Marcus, it'll come one day. So I'm telling you what was placed in my lifetime, in my past, to help me out. You know, me and Paul was going through the same thing at the same time. And we called it boy problems. We wrote the Fed bill every Tuesday for years and years. And we got to know each other. And his problems and my problems were the same. Paul left one Friday night, and he drove to New York to go pick his son up. I left one Saturday evening to go pick my son up in Dallas, Texas. But see, those are the kind of relationships that we had. And what they don't tell about Paul is the last 3 years of Paul's life, he was in the church. And Paul did a whole lot for the church. You know, it was a situation came up where I had to testify in federal court, and Paul came to me. He said, Marcus, he said, I'm proud of you. I said, for what, Paul? He said, because you will tell the truth. And he said, many men won't tell the truth. And he said, you go in there and you tell the truth. You know, and he started crying, and he turned around, I was like, okay. Later on, I got to tell Paul the same thing. I said, Paul, you tell the truth. I said, no matter who like you or who don't like you, you tell the truth. And Paul Hill stood up for the truth. My other friend is Ann Presley. Bill knew her. Ann was a great person, y'all. And she called herself the 5th McDonald child. I'd come to church, she'd be right there with me. Yeah, I mean, she was a good, down-home person. The day she died, the day she got killed, I was on the way to her house at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I said, well, let me go back by the station, you know, get the live truck and do this. And when I got to the station, everybody was like, I was like, what's wrong with y'all? And they was like, Ann got killed. And I was like, what? And they was like, Ed got killed. And I was like, no. So I get out my car and I go over there, all the police over there and everything. Well, people knew me and Ann was very close to each other. And, you know, it's a tragedy, you know, but I can say this. Some people do more in a short period in their lifetime, and some of us can be 100 and don't do nothing. Some people can touch people's lives so quickly in their lifetime and do more for people than some of us that live a whole lifetime and never do anything for anybody. You know, and I just go on down the road in the line of the people that I've met in my lifetime as working at Channel 7 and doing different things in Channel 7, and all the people that I've come in contact with, Sammy Davis Jr., you name them, Martha Stewart, you name them, I've had contact with a whole lot of people. And a lot of times those smiles you don't see on TV when those lights and camera goes off, the same people don't smile at you. A lot of times they turn around and they'll walk away. But there's some good people in this world. And Bill Daly can attest to that. There's some whole town good people in this world. You know, I just think about the people from Magnolia. There's a street named after Al Flanagan in Little Rock, Arkansas. And he grew up in the neck. There's a street named after him called Flanagan Drive. I mean, there's a street named after him, but and you know, you can just go on and on, the Roy Greens and other people that's from Magnolia that have done things, you know, and never forget Magnolia's home. I will never, ever forget that this is home. You know, and I have loved it, and I'll continue to love it for the day, to the day I die. My wife asked me, she said, something happened to you. She said, where you want to be buried? I said, Magnolia. She said, what? I said, I know them folks. I know them in Magnolia. I don't know them up there at the Mississippi. I know them, but you are. And then, like I say, but through the lifetime, and I tell people, you know, when they's like, who preaching? Marcus McDonald preaching? And everybody go, there got to be a God somewhere. That's all God wanted, for you to say that. That's all he wanted. Cause you know, and I told me and Ms. Russ, we were laughing and talking this morning. I tell people, I got a PhD in sin. I'm bona fide. I come stamp. PhD in sin, but I'm honest. I know who I am and what I am. And you know, I know where I've come from. You know, there's nothing to hide. You know, people ask me all the time, what about your boys? They're doing good. See, what about Tony? I said, Tony doing great. I said, he's at the Fitness 10 at Bryan, Arkansas. He relapsed? Of course he relapsed. Of course. Of course he did. I said, but there's no shame in his game. I said, be honest with yourself and move on. You know, and I tell people, I say, God has to move you sometime to use you. You stay in the same environment, the same results. I said, so once you move yourself from the environment you're in, then you get a whole other result. I'm proud of it. You know, and as a father, I don't care how many times you fall down, I'm going to pick you up. And that's just me. You know, because I can look around this room. There's some folks in here that fell down and got back up. There's some children in this room that fell down and got back up. But we got to continue to pick them up. And we got to continue to go on knowing that, hey, there's a brighter day tomorrow. We was talking about rain. I hope it rain. Because my yard is dry. And I'm a flower fanatic. But, you know, and I tell people, you know, I said, can you imagine, like I talked about Paul here, and all of us going through the same thing at the same time? You know, and he talking to me and I'm talking to him, and we trying to counsel each other and make sense out of stuff that don't make no sense. You know, but then me and Paul had to realize it was us and not our children. And once we got ourselves right, then our children will get themselves right. Sometimes we put too much on children when it's us as parents is the ones, as the example that they're following. Does that make any sense? If that make any sense. And then like I told him, I said, Tony was like, Dad, you know, I spoke at the Rotary Club. I said, good. And I tell him, they said, man, could he really play football? I said, yes, he could. I said, but you know, can you understand, you got two boy athletes. You got two of them. You got one that's Mr. Magnolia. You got one that's in Dallas. Then I got two daughters. Never made a B in their life. One graduated from Washington University in St. Louis. The other one graduated from Swan. Both of them took AP courses. That's all they ever took. One of them is now, going to be in January 1st, assistant principal at a charter school. The other one is a financial advisor for FedEx. Tony's at 10, Reggie's at Enterprise at Dallas. But can you understand, when everybody, you're coming from this way and you're coming from that way, but you got to meet a family in the middle, and be daddy in the middle of all this controversy and all this chaos. One day you go into a honors convention, the next day you wonder your children going to jail. So, is Marcus McDonald preaching? Yes. Didn't have no choice. I didn't have no choice. What you ask for, you get. I didn't have no choice. But you know, like I say, that's the most enjoyable thing I ever done. You know, and I love it because I know what brought me this far. And I know what brought my family and my children this far. You know, my daddy got an old saying, and he have said it all his life. He says, one food per house. He says, son, if there's more foods in the house than you, something wrong with your house. And see, my house had too many foods in it. And when your house got too many foods in it, something ain't gonna go right. And see, that's what me and Paul used to talk about. Now, we would laugh, man, we would laugh and go up and down the road. But like I say, that was one of the most devastating things to me. My wife said, Marcus, and they just loved it. I mean, they loved it. But I work with some beautiful people in this world. I work with some folks that have taught me a whole lot and a lot of things in this lifetime. But I want to give you all the credit for what you all have done here in Magnolia as far as sending people on their way to be better citizens and better communities. You know, you ask people, they from Magnolia, they from here, this town has produced a whole lot. And we need to be proud of what's going out of here. You know, it's not might be what you want or what you consider, but once they get there, everything that they've been through here, they take it and they use it to better somebody else's community. And we ought to be proud that the fruit of this city is spread abroad. Thank you. Any questions? Yes, sir.
A lot of y'all don't know it, y'all heard me say that, but Marcus was one of the members of the 1975 state championship basketball team. In my opinion, the best basketball team ever came through.
Of course.
Damn right.
Painful
Of course. Thank you, Mike.
as painful as it is, though, walk us through the last minute when we're playing Little Rock Central and y'all have them down 5
Oh, my
points with a
God.
minute to go.
Well, you know, and let me say this before that. I see all them guys. I see all them guys. Robert Griffin, Batch, Houston Nutt, all them guys. I see all them guys, and we laugh and talk about it. And they know, and they'll tell you who was the better team. And they will tell you that, well, no, I mean, when you up, but let me explain something to you. Can you teach a thoroughbred to trot? We were shooters. I don't care if it was a minute. If we was up 20 points, we was going to shoot. That's what we did. Huh? I mean, that's what we did. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and it might not have gone our way, but I look back over when you're 6 points ahead, you get a traveling call, you get a goaltending call, and you get a foul. But I go back, and James Armstrong told me this, and I never, ever realized it until he told me, he said, you know you lost that game. I say, I lost the game. He was, Marcus, you lost the game. I was like, I didn't lose the game. That was Greg Alexander. It wasn't me. That was Rudy. It wasn't me. He said, no. He said, when Griffin stole the ball from Greg, and I could jump, he said, you blocked the shot, and you had his shot blocked. And you took this hand and I pushed him in the stands, in which I did do that. I pushed him in the stands. You know, I had a clean block. Whether the referee was going to call it, I didn't give, you know how stupid we are. I'm thinking, well, he going to call the foul on me anyway. But no, I had a clean block and I pushed Griffin in the stands. And those great pep club members from Magnolia, those cheerleaders, they kind of introduced him to the Panthers. I mean, that was one of the, I'll say, when the fire marshal closed UCA's jail, and we had waited that long to play. And I'll tell anybody, I don't care when they come, where they coming. If there's a better team from 1975 in Magnolia, Arkansas, I want to see them. I want to see them when you got 10 players, but you just think about it. 3 games, our 3 big men wasn't there. Richard Miller asked me, he said, I need you to score. I was like, thank God. Thank God you want me to shoot. And he asked me to start shooting the ball. And that's what I done. I started shooting. Now, when the guys came back, I wasn't gonna quit shooting, huh? And they had write my name in the paper talking about how quick I was and all that good stuff, and I got to read it and believe it. You think I'm gonna quit shooting? I'm being honest, huh? You know, you going up time, man, you had 20 points, all that kind of stuff. Come on, that stuff get good to you. And you start believing that junk. Man, I ain't got a cat and started emulating the cat, because I thought Harold Jameson called me cat quick. And I'm doing what the cat doing. I'm doing what the cat doing. But I realized something from the cat, though, and which I did learn from it. Every time the cat do something, he takes it out in midair. He don't wait till it get to where it's going. And when I stole that ball, I was still in midair. See, the cat will teach you something, just like that horse will. So I learned from it, you know, because I was like, okay, Harold called me cat quick. I need to know what he means. Come on, somebody. Anybody else? And let me thank Mr. Tubblebill. That's been a friend of mine for a long time now. That's a friend for a long time. I was thinking about it another day, and I was telling me who somebody was talking. Oh, Cliff Lewis. Me and Cliff always together. James Meadows, we always together. Mike Cheney. And I was talking about Mr. Tubblebill. He said, I didn't know him. I said, well, that's your fault. If you didn't get to meet him and know him. I said, that's your fault. I mean, some people that would be there at all the games. And I mean, all you guys was there. But you know what? Don't y'all have me getting out in Preston where I can't walk now. Me be thinking I can do it again because I can't. You know, I can't. So I had to move on to other things. But you know, like the basketball and all that. Patty, was that for me? Oh, I heard him. But I've had a great time, you know. And I was wondering what I was going to say. I said, what am I going to say? You know, and I was waiting on the questions. I was waiting on everything. But it's been an honor, and it's been a pleasure to come home. You know, there's nothing like home. And no matter where you go, you know, once I get to Waldo, I said, I only got 6 miles, and I can make it home. I know how dark it feels now on her way home. Thank you all very much.
You're truly an ambassador for Magnolia. We have some gifts for you that are uniquely Magnolia.
All right, that'll work. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.